Okay, hello again. It seems like I was talking for about an hour, and I have seen the previous video, and I think I talked too slowly, and that things were going very slowly. But I'm new to this, people. So I will try to work a little bit faster. I actually had a long coffee break because it took so long for a desktop recorder to render the file, which I will put up on some video page like YouTube, and I make this as a second part of my XFCE4 or Xubuntu demonstration, Xubuntu 18.4. Did I just say XFCE 18.4 before that? No, what did I say? I am a bit tired, but bear with me. Let's go back to work. Now I can see if Clipman is running here. Yes, XFCE Clipman is running, and it's using 6 megabytes of RAM. Good to know. And if I should add to the panel this Clipman plugin, I thought about it, and I am glad that there are two versions of the program. Because there are cases where you can use it, where you play around with the user interface, and you want to either use Clipman as an applet somewhere, or you want it to run in the sys-tray. But now it won't start because it is already here, so it is already running as a sys-tray icon. I quit that process, and then I click run here again, and it runs. Let's see if it comes about. It must be this one, which came up here, and it's strange because it says panel 13 XFCE4 dash, and here you can see user, which user it runs for, how much CPU is using, and the ID of the program. This can be useful later to notice that each program has an ID when it runs on GNU Linux. And memory, it's still using exactly 5.4 megabyte of RAM. And my computer just crashed, it seems, because here came a alert window with here says beklager, det har skjedd en intern feil med Ubuntu 18.4. So I will try to, and it says send a crash report to help with this problem. I don't want to do that. Send crash reports. I rather file a bug. You can click view details if you want. some panel wrapper to blah blah, something wrong with this panel applets. I don't send in a report and I click continue. I remove this this applet from the panel again, and click Alt and F2, and as you can see for Clipman, I run it like this. So here it came up again. I could try to copy something. Then I can show you something again. First, I run this command just to ease the eye a little bit. Clear. I think it's nice to have a clear terminal console. Sorry, I also fixed that and click. I just have to click F2. Either that, or I could right click and select it from the menu. And I write a console here. So now now it's named console. I think there's some philosophy behind this, because it would be mass fail to there would be a mad fail to call it terminal when I say console. Not mad fail, but it would be better to name it console when I say console. And I have showed you the system monitor. I quit that. And where were I? I was about to show you something in the console. I don't remember what it was, but I remember what I was about to say to you about the Clipman history icon. That if you shut down the computer, then it will delete all your copies, all your copy paste text, or pictures. I think it can store pictures too. I'm not quite sure about that. Now I remember what I was gonna show you in the terminal. This is the user. Okay. Username. Now I am logged into the console as root, so it's username root at, and then the name of the computer, in this case PC. So I call my PC PC. If you wait 5 seconds, then I will have me a coffee. Just look at these fractals. XAOs, yes. What's the name of the program? Maximize. Just look at this while I'm grabbing a coffee. I am back. Okay. So using the fractals. Let's do other things. Like putting Spotify on the desktop. It seems like it doesn't start. Should I wait or should I double click it again? I know, I can... No, there it comes. So that is nice. Spotify has been available for Linux for a long time. I go to console again, and I use apt, the apt function to install. Install is a command, and then SL. Yes, you know, if you use the arrow buttons on your keyboard, you can go up to the previous commands and see what they were and click return and or enter. Is it enter or return? It is enter and return. Now I run this program I just installed. Not available. Apparently it's not available. I try to install it again, and what I see here is it's reading from package lists, and it's making an overview over dependencies on the system, and it's reading the information, and it's already installed. It says here, it's already installed. Du har allerede den nyeste versjonen av SL. Try again and again. Oh, what I can do, I take the web browser and what should I do? In the coffee break, you know, I just went to some social media. But I haven't done anything else. Google.com. Okay, Xubuntu 18. Oh, I don't want to be logged into Google while I'm filming my computer screen, so I log out. Ubuntu 18.04. It's actually called 04. Not 18.4 like I wrongly say. SL not working here. And I'm pretty sure that there was not ls, because that is a list function. Nothing to view here, but if I choose file and new terminal, new layer right, then ls in this new instance of console I'm within I'm my home directory and I'm logged in as myself. That is my username, yes. ls, it lists folders and files in colors actually. That is a feature you could remember. But I am sure that there was a program called SL. Yes, it didn't work as root, but it works on a normal user. We'll do that again. Pretty cool. Now let me demonstrate something for you. I right click on the desktop and I choose to make a new desktop shortcut, and then I can name that SL and a comment, for example tough train, and a command, the comment and I can choose an icon, show all icons, and scroll. I can choose this one. I don't know why, I just got a vibe or a feeling about it. and run in terminal. Make new, and when I run it and mark as executable, it runs a tough train. Ooh, and I can click it again and again. Okay, that is fantastic. So we learned something new. Now let's right click desktop again and desktop settings, and again you have to click on the icons tab, and on this tab you have a selection of controllers which can be selected. Icon size and text size. Like this one, I think this makes the comments those floating comments you got over the icons to show a menu, not to show an icon. Now those comments doesn't even show up, but that's okay. Here standard icons. I will show the home folder. I will not show file systems or the trash icon. I just have to move everything up, or you can place it where you want, of course. You can categorize it, for example, like having system tools in this row, multimedia in this, and fun stuff in this. I don't know what this is. Just the most normal programs. There should be a text editor here, and I found it. The default one is called mousepad. Which is kind of notepad-ish notepad, and with tabs. And with some settings. Color palette, I would set that to Tango. And tabs width, I always use 4. tools bar. This text program has color markings for different programming languages. For example, JavaScript. So it is lightweight notepad with a lot of features, kind of I don't know, the kind of it's just a text editor. But a color coding for different programming languages, that's cool. Fortran, Fort, F sharp, Erlang. I don't know what half of these languages are. I don't know, but I know what Pascal is. Pascal is kind of like BASIC and C++. Perhaps I should nerd some Pascal. Now that I removed the unwanted icons from the desktop, then I or almost here the removable devices, I don't want them to show up either, and I will rename the home directory. After all, it opens a file manager, so I will I can click F2 now, like as you know, or use the right click menu. Give it a new name. No. New name. What happened? For this item, there is no rename. There is no rename option, but I can go to settings. You can go to settings and name it something else. Oh, here comes the actual name of the directory up. The actual name is my username, and what is displayed here is home. This is home. Yem. So what should I do about that? There is a file manager in the whisker menu. I drag this over here and I go back to desktop settings and icons and then uncheck home and move this filbehandler, this file manager up here. I have been thinking a lot. I have been thinking that you could install, and I'm sure you have thought a lot too. But I've been thinking a lot about some stuff, and one is I could try to install or you could install an operating system in another language to learn that language. So for me that would be something else than English or Norwegian. Like something I wanted to get better at, German. Then I could install that. I have tried it all too, though. I wouldn't say that is the most preferable way to learn a new language, because you always bump into problems and you get lost in the workflow when you don't know the words. If it's a close language, if it's close to something you know before, then you can probably use it. I have tried, I think maybe perhaps Afrikaans, and that's not so bad. You can manage to use it. But if you are, say, in a text editor and you don't have no clue what save or open is for a text file, then your work will get lost. So don't do it. Let's go on. I would also like to have a web browser on the desktop. Mark executable. Mark executable. And this opens Firefox for me. The latest version, and this just looks a bit odd in my eyes, to have these spaces on each side of the search bar. So we'll remove those spaces. I will also show you something else. You can go to settings, and there is an option to set Control Tab to switch between tabs. See if I open 3 tabs here. Then you will get this tab switcher, and it looks a lot like the program switcher from XFCE. Now it seems that I have been mistaken, and there is no preview on XFCE4. The fuck, I'm tired. No preview for the layers. like I thought it was. But still you see that the program shifter in the Xubuntu looks quite like the tab switcher in Firefox. Now I will use Google to search for an image. So the hamburger icon. Maybe this one? Save. I can put it in the pictures directory. Save. And whisker menu, settings, icon, and that annoying picture I talked about earlier. I can change that now. An image file in pictures. Menu icon PNG, and that just looks terrible. So I'll find another one. This was kind of cool. I can try this. Just as terrible. There is white here and not transparent, and the scale of the picture is wrong here. I add white. Okay, so maybe this. This would work if it was transparent. I could edit it in GIMP. I don't know if that's installed by default. It would be under graphics. No, it's not installed by default. I go to console and use the apt function and install GIMP. I have to confirm. I click G for yes, no, not for yes, for yeah. And it says installs. While this is happening, I go to panel settings again. You have seen how you go to panel settings. Right click on the panel and panel settings. Here it is. And then look, I can choose one color. And I make that black too. Now on this new icon and combined with this black color, it makes it look very modern. This is the standard interface for new computers. Android uses it, Windows 10 uses it. A black panel. I would have it look more like Android. I could have it on the top of the screen. What's the difference really? But unless there are some functions that connects with has to do with all the programs. If you got a global menu or window buttons on the panel, I prefer to have it down at the bottom. There are several ways to access each functionality of the program. One is I could go to panel settings and window buttons and settings. This cogwheel is an icon for settings. I could go to the element on the panel and right click, and here I don't want to show that grid, and also on the panel I don't want to show that grid. But it seems like the clock applet is squeezed into the side of the screen with only 3 pixels on the right side. So I will add an element here and here. The panel has got a new element, a spacer. I make that transparent. I just close this now. it is better when you play around with the graphical interface. You start paying attention to details, and you become quite of designer, or you can become something else. You can become a coder if you like to play around with codes on the computer. It really depends what you play around with. Next thing, let's go to settings. Theme. Here are several themes to choose between. Adwaita, it has become nicer. It's been some years since GNOME 3 was released, and in GNOME 3 this is the default theme. But as you can see, it works with XFCE too, because these are GTK themes, and it works for GTK 2 and GTK 3. Now the XFCE desktop is only partially translated into GTK 3, and there are still a lot of GTK 2 technology in, I think, XFCE 4 terminal. The console program is running GTK 2. I'm not certain about that either. Let's Google that. Is XFCE 4 dash terminal using GTK 3 or GTK 2? Here seems to be a forum which has an answer to that, perhaps. XFCE 4 was originally GTK 2, but after recent upgrade to version 4.12, I find it is halfway GTK 2 and halfway GTK 3. Which applications are currently ported to GTK 3 and which are currently not yet. There's nothing about that here. So on this blog altroot.org, alteroot.org. It says that XFCE4/terminal is completely ported into GTK3. I almost recognized those buttons here. As GTK3. There is a slight difference, but overall with Advaita you get a lot of consistency between GTK 3 and 2, and using Qt applications, I think they have a module which translates the GTK theme into Qt, so you don't have to worry too much about that. There are programs you can install to theme Qt apps differently than GTK apps. There have always been this GTK versus Qt war, call it, same, in the Linux world. They have always been competing. From the first GNOME and KDE, those were the default desktops. Back when there wasn't a lot to choose between when it came to complete desktops. I still remember when there were only KDE two or three and GNOME 2. If you really like GNOME 2, you can use the Mate. People nowadays seems to pronounce it Mate, but I pronounce it Mate. You can choose to use Mate, which is also has also a classical look. It is also lightweight. I don't think it's being maintained as much as XFCE4. We can of course talk about XFCE4 versus Mate and GNOME versus KDE and so forth. And LXDE is one that's even lightweighter, more lightweight than than XFCE. Sorry, I got confused in my head because I said than, which makes no grammatical sense. LXDE should be some screenshots here. Yeah. This is how that looks. If you are new to Linux, then you could try different desktop environments. There is a new cool one. I think it's called LXQT desktop, which is a lightweight desktop based on Qt, and it's very much my taste. I will consider using that over XFCE4. It is a fork of two different desktop environments, Razor Qt and LXDE Qt or something. No, that's what it's called now. Are two different projects that merged into one. And how this one project has become very usable. You can choose to use a KVM as a window decoration manager there. Which is one of the features. Perhaps I should just leave this topic and make another video about LXQT desktop. I were tweaking something the look, the theming. I was tweaking on the theming, and I don't want this Advaita theme. I want to use Greybird. And for icons, the elementary icon theme, it has come from the elementary project and is now being used in Xubuntu. It is what I consider to be a serious icon project. Consistency and completeness. You can use it without getting annoyed or irritated. Some themes are just so flawed that you get irritated at them and you can't use them for more than an hour before having to change. But this theme has also been around for a long time, Humanity. and it came with Xubuntu. It's developed by the Xubuntu the company, the firm behind Xubuntu, Canonical. It is also complete and consistent. It has this orange icons on folder and a lot of orange, but overall it's a nice theme. Orange can get annoying, but not if you get used to it, so I will stick with this icon theme. Humanity dash dark for the dark panel. Now we come to fonts, and what's installed here by default is called Noto Sans. I would use Droid. Here's Droid Sans fallback. What has happened to the Droid fonts? Since it says fallback here, and fallback is kind of, I think that means failsafe. I think maybe they have been replaced by the new Google font, Roboto. I don't know. Droid Sans fallback, but I use this now. It is developed by Google, and I think it's the nicest font for using in regular setting. It's nothing sensational about it, but it's easy on the eyes and it's easy to read. I also would recommend, I would recommend Ubuntu font, because I like that one too, and it's been developed by Canonical too. I selected that so we can see how it looks around the desktop. And now I select Droid. It's not very different. Here are other settings. This is to smoothen the fonts. The fonts which you can see here, for example, on the tabs, or here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. But I want to have smoothing turned on. And since we're not running this on a 10-year-old computer, this doesn't require that much resources from the PC. Other settings, you can choose to show icons on the buttons or not. It's really what you prefer. It's if you don't show any icons on the buttons, then it seems more minimalistic. That can be nice too. And someone's opinion I read on a forum was that they thought it was clutter for the eye. If you don't like too much clutter, turn them off. I like to have them on to have a visual representation of the function of the button. So I just have to look for a certain icon to find the button I'm looking for. That it's because I'm lazy. This button here says all settings, and also now I got an icon with a back kind of illustration, a picture image here. So that's okay. Now window decorations, or I would say layer decorations. Ooh, it's so fun to resize the layers. I think I could do this all day. Ooh. Let's see which themes are installed for the window for decorations. For the layers. Default. I don't like them, but it looks like a theme that you can get used to, and then after a while you start thinking, that's not so bad. But I'm not quite there. There's one called Daloa. Too slim. Default HD, so HDPI, so if you want a larger one for HD screens especially, you can choose this one. Most of the layer decorations for XFCE's window manager, because these windows are drawn with a Windows manager. These decorations and window buttons here are drawn with something called window manager, and in this case it is XFWM. and then you got default XHDPI, which is even larger, too large. This, I could use this for the size. But as I said before, I don't like this theme too much. Greybird, which is consistent with the XFCE theme, and Greybird accessibility. I think this is nice. I would use this. This is minimize, maximize, another close button there. I hear something outside my window. Oh, it's probably nothing. Fly! There was a girl outside my window.